Back with you tonight. A JSE-listed housing development company has decided to stop doing business in KwaZulu-Natal. Developer Calgro M3 blamed its exit on the province's so-called construction mafia. Already, Calgro announced last year that it planned to sell off its KwaZulu-Natal business due to constant violence against its employees and contractors. The provincial leadership recently condemned acts of intimidation against companies in the construction sector. Joining us now for a reaction is KwaZulu-Natal Economic Development, Environmental Affairs and Tourism MEC, Siboniso Duma. Mr. Duma, good evening, and thank you very much for your time and for joining us tonight here on In Focus. The words from Calgro are that you get so close to AK-47s, you get demands, you get life threats on site managers. It's just not an environment you'd like to work in. That's CEO Vikas Lategan saying that. Is the province aware of this still continuing? Because I'm sure you are aware of it happening, and that's why you've commented on it previously.
Good evening, Babu Mdluli and your listeners. It's true that the imbalances of the past has caused so many different things. Historical, the issue of business has been known to be sectored around certain areas. And in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, we condemn with the strongest term of those who think that they want to partake in the business by destroying or blocking others. And I think at this point in time, we've tried in the past just even to formulate proper business forum, those that can be professionalized, that can partake in an open tender system, that can also complement the effort of government. So I think we are there at this point in time, and it's a pity that we've just suffered the COVID-19, we've suffered the issue of floods and the issue of July unrest. So it means that we need stability in terms of investment. We need stability in terms of the economy. So we just still have to ensure that we lobby and advocate that KwaZulu-Natal is still conducive enough for all the business to thrive, for business just to partake and make sure that they can still entice the province of KwaZulu-Natal in terms of development. Yeah.
So are you saying the province is engaged in a proactive, practical promotion on the ground of a position? I don't know whether it's a policy position of the KwaZulu-Natal government that construction companies embarking on new projects in the province must at least give or take a certain number of opportunities in that particular project to local businesses. It could be a certain number of laborers. It could be a particular portion of material that is being sourced to come from those particular areas. Is that a policy of the province?
Remember, these days, when you get awarded a tender, there is already a percentage or probably 30% that is allocated to subcontract, the issue of CPGs. And the construction company is also compelled to utilize the local laborers so that you are able to identify the talent, you nurture the talent, and employ the local people. But on the same breath, which is why I was saying that we just have to differentiate the issue of criminal activities that is taking place, where we are just requesting subs to take and play their role with the issue of state security intelligence company or state security agents as well, that they must just assist the province of KwaZulu-Natal so that it become easy, because we can't manage to lose business. And we are saying that those who are genuinely strong enough to subcontract, those who are strong enough even to tender and be supported by government have been supported. So that is why I'm advancing the issue of business forum, that we do communicate with them. We do, in fact, even on Saturday, I'm going to meet them. But this new tendency of mafias, we can't allow the process of cartel-driven individuals who are going to destroy the image that has been created, the brand KwaZulu-Natal, which entices of nice tourism attraction. Then people are saying that they're not going to trade in KwaZulu-Natal because it's not safe to do business. We are still going to defend those who are genuinely looking for the space in KwaZulu-Natal and engage those who are genuinely want to partake in the mainstream economic processes.
Yeah. So you mentioned the SAPS. The criticism is that the response, one from government, has been weak. if not spineless, or maybe docile. But the SAPS in particular have done little, if anything at all, to arrest these mafias. In fact, few arrests could actually be cited.
I think government, at the level of our side as provincial government, we did everything we could in terms of reporting these cases, because Babu Mdlula already highlighted that we must just differentiate. Any criminal activity that is taking place in KwaZulu-Natal, we condemn with the strongest term. So we will never be in a position of defending anything that is criminal. Like, for instance, if there is a usage or if there is visibility of AK-47, AK-47 is not even allowed in our country. So it's something that nobody is allowed just to carry that rifle. So if the police are not playing a proper role, because it is that enforcement agents that has a right. If we are on site, there are engineers that are taking care of the process that is technical. But if there are threats that have been reported, government will always send the processes like subs, cases has been reported, because our process, after it has been done, so the construction companies should report these cases. That is why I think we are emphatic on the point that South African Police Service have managed to deal with cases, but their defense is that when they take this being justice system or the judiciary has been weakened, not to be frustrating this process, because while you find that some individuals have been charged, but they will be blocking other projects. So I think it's an ongoing process, and there's been a lot of evolution. You'll find that they are found somewhere in Durban. Then when there is a process of being vigilant from the state at the level of Durban, they will just emanate somewhere around Umkhanyakude district, somewhere around Uthugela district. So it's a matter that needs proper law enforcement agencies just to deal with it once and for all.
There's been a call for transparency around the MOUs that are signed, as you put it. Already there is a 30% that is automatic attached in terms of procurement, in terms of localization of labor. But there is a lack of transparency in those MOUs, in a sense that particular politicians tend to benefit from those arrangements more than actually the larger local smaller enterprises.
I think it's a polarization that will just say politicians, because in some instances you'll find that a service provider in the form of a construction company might also discuss in a very overt manner and make an arrangement with certain individuals. When the deal is not okay, or there are some differences, then, or if there is a conflict, then that's where they will involve probably a councillor, they will involve maybe government. So that is where problem lies, that the issue of corruption, we don't denounce that it does take place, but it is run by those cartels and big business. If they could just stop, even issuing a 100 rand drink, it is going to stop. As long as they are still partaking on that in terms of big business, it is going to persist. So government is clinical as to how we are going to issue the tender, as to how the process of tender will unfold. You don't have to pay anyone. You don't have to pay the contractor. You don't have to pay the engineer. You don't have to pay any government official. You don't have to pay any councillor that is related in the project. So it's a matter of wrong decisions that are being made. Then in some instances they will explode, and government is also expected just to defend as well on the deals or gentlemen's agreement that we are not part of.
Are you going to be engaging Calgro M3 itself on this position that they have taken around pulling out of the province?
Definitely, we're engaging almost every construction companies through our processes, because that is why I was saying that we have already hinted to all the engineers that are employed by government that just give us an update on the status quo of our currently companies that are on the ground, that are doing construction, so that as the state, we are aware. So we are just going, I think we've already started that process. The letter has been written to them that they must just meet the MEC at a strategic level, at a strategic time, then start the process. But we want to be thorough, because dealing with them, probably even reaching a consensus, is not going to solve the process. It's not going to solve the problem. So we must just go and zoom into deeper analysis, the causal factors of these things, and deal with those alleged mafias who are controlling the industries. Because some of them, you'll find that they don't even want to work. That is why we are saying that there are genuine business forums that must engage with government, and there are ongoing talks and nice processes. But there are some others who just go on site and claim money. They don't even want to work. They don't even want to partake. So that's where the issue of law enforcement comes into the fore.
Yeah. Do you see this delaying some of the current projects? One being the units being developed at Bridge City in KwaMashu, and the other, of course, is the 720 housing units in Umhlanga Hills, which this particular company was already embarking on.
It might cause some perception, it might cause some fear, but we don't think it is going to delay other projects, because this thing has been persistent for quite some time. As I've already highlighted, that it has been managed. It will manage it in the north, then the south. Some new tactics will be utilized or will evade in the process. So I think we'll manage as government. It's just that, as I was saying, that the issue of silo mentality is also dangerous, because the level of who is involved, if the case has been opened, if all the construction companies that are on site implementing our projects, they can just give us a case number, then we monitor at that level while it's still not big at a level of an advancement stage. Because if you tell us later while you want to close the project site and all those things, you might find that it has exploded. So we are monitoring all the processes.
MEC, I appreciate your time as always. Thanks so much for coming on KZN. MEC for Economic Development, Environmental Affairs, as well as tourism in the KwaZulu-Natal province.